Gospel and Homily for the 29th Sunday in Ordinary Time, Year B. The Lord be with you. A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Mark. James and John, the sons of Zebedee, approached Jesus. "Master," they said to him, "we want you to do us a favor." He said to them, "What is it you want me to do for you?" They said to him, "Allow us to sit one at your right hand and the other at your left in your glory." "You do not know what you're asking," Jesus said to them. "Can you drink the cup that I must drink, or be baptized with the baptism with which I must be baptized?" They replied, "We can." Jesus said to them, "The cup that I must drink you shall drink, and with the baptism with which I must be baptized you shall be baptized. But as for seats at my right hand and my left, these are not mine to grant. They belong to those to whom they've been allotted." When the other 10 apostles heard this, they began to feel indignant with James and John. So Jesus called them to him and said to them, "You know that among the pagans their so-called rulers lord it over them, and their great men make their authority felt. This is not to happen among you. No, anyone who wants to become great among you must be your servant, and anyone who wants to be first among you must be slave of all. For the Son of Man himself did not come to be served, but to serve, and to give his life as a ransom for many." The Gospel of the Lord. I think one of Aesop's fables is appropriate for today. A wolf, roaming on the mountainside, saw his own shadow as the sun was setting, become greatly extended and magnified, and he said to himself, "Why should I, being of such an immense size and extending nearly an acre in length, be afraid of the lion? Ought I not to be acknowledged as king of all the collected beasts?" While he was indulging in these proud thoughts, a lion fell upon him and killed him. He exclaimed with too late a repentance, "Wretched me! This overestimation of myself is the cause of my downfall." James and John seem to be inflating their importance by begging Jesus to give them prime seats in heaven. The other apostles, understandably, felt irate at the cheek of these two brothers. This provided Jesus with an ideal opportunity to teach them a very important lesson. They must avoid power games which people play in the world. At the Last Supper, if you remember, Jesus performed the menial task of washing the apostles' feet, and he asked them to follow suit. When Peter refused, Jesus told him bluntly that if he wasn't prepared to eat humble pie, their friendship was well nigh over. Today is designated as World Mission Sunday. Jesus sent the apostles out on a mission to preach the gospel. But their words will only resonate with people who, like Jesus, are meek and humble in heart. James and John were pressing Jesus to reserve seats for them at the top table in heaven, without having to muddy their hands, as it were, here on earth. Humble service of others involves taking on a more unassuming role, which doesn't come naturally to most people. However, without fully realizing it, most of us take on lots of menial tasks without much ado. Look at all the unpretentious, often unnoticed tasks you do week after week for others, both within and outside your home, without claiming any credit. Even the church itself has not been immune from playing power games. At a clergy meeting some time back, one of the items under the discussion was about how the church had changed since the ending of the Second Vatican Council about 60 years ago now. Well, I would say that we are a more chastened, less triumphalist church now than in the past, which is more in line with today's gospel narrative. During the Holy Father's trip to America a couple of years ago, for instance, he travelled about in an ordinary little car to be more in tune, I think, with the ordinary man and woman in the street. Humble service towards others, however, doesn't at all mean devaluing or downplaying your talents. It is false humility not to acknowledge the gifts God has given us. We thank God for his gift, whatever it may be, so that we can use it for the good of others, but not for our own glory. Being a believer in Jesus will not spare us the humiliation of the cross. That is why Jesus asked James and John if they were prepared to drink the cup of humiliation and suffering which he was soon to drink. If not, their following of Jesus would be going nowhere. Worldly leaders often push their weight around, as Jesus said, but we, his followers, are advised not to go down that road. Shouldering the little crosses which come our way will easily keep us chastened and fit for purpose. God resists the proud, and he gives his grace to the humble. Thank you all very much for listening now, and God bless you all.